Hello, I'm Bernard Norcott-Mahany. I work at the Blueford branch of the Kansas City Public Library. April is National Poetry Month, and today, the final day of April, we are going to conclude with the last poem, Poem 30, from Horace's collection of poetry called the Odes. So he published the Odes in 4 books, 4 chapters. The first 3 he published as a unit, and then much later he did the 4th book of Odes. The 3 are seen as a unit, intended to be a unit, intended to be sort of grouped the way they are by the author himself. This poem, of course, because it's the ending poem, basically has Horace make a brag, which is he's completed something that is more lasting than a bronze statue or than some sort of great building by publishing this collection of poems, that this will be his legacy and the people will remember him forever. And of course, Horace is still read by students studying Latin. They certainly read some of Horace's odes, and the translation of the odes is still in print, so people can read that. And as long as classical education was still strong, Horace would be read. Pretty much most of the books of odes would be read by students going through prep school and so forth. So at any rate, that's this final poem. David Ferry, the translator here, does not give it a name. He just calls it Poem 330. Although part of me thinks that the 30 might be, in Ferry's mind, like at the end of a story sent to the newspaper, they actually mark it with a 30, meaning this is the end. So I'm just wondering whether that's what's in his mind, but it doesn't matter. It's not in the Latin. Horace, Poem 30 from Book 3 of the Odes. Today I have finished a work outlasting bronze and the pyramids of ancient royal kings. The north wind raging cannot scatter it, nor can the rain obliterate this work, nor can the years, nor can the ages passing. Some part of me will live and not be given over into the hands of the death goddess. I will go on and on, kept ever young by the praise in times to come for what I have done. So long as the pontiff in solemn procession climbs the Capitol steps, beside him the reverent vestal, so long will it be that men will say that I, born in a land where Aufidus's torrent roared, once ruled by Danaus, king of a peasant people, was the first to bring Aeolian measures to Latin. Melpomene, look kindly on the honor the muse has won for me, and graciously place on my head the garland of Delphic laurel. So that was Poem 30 of Horace from Book 3. It's the concluding poem of it. It's intended to be a concluding poem. He does make reference to, this Melpomene, one of the muses, putting on his head the Delphic laurel, the poetry prize crown, indicating that he's a poet. He also mentions Aeolian measures. The 2 big Aeolic poets who wrote in that Greek dialect were Sappho and Alcaeus from the island of Lesbos, and they had particular metrical patterns that Horace copies. So Horace here is consciously copying, throughout his odes, is consciously copying especially the poets Sappho and Alcaeus. So hence the Aeolian measures. So that concludes April for 2022. I've enjoyed reading the poems again. I've read them, several times, but it was nice to read them again in David Ferry's translation, which I think is quite good. And we'll see you next year.